the first few minutes of your small group conversation, your few don't need to dive immediately into that week's discussion questions. They just need to connect. Because remember, leading a small group is about something much bigger than discussing questions. It's about the relationships you're building over time. But you'll never build a great small group relationship or have a great small group conversation if you can't connect first. If you want your small group conversations to matter more, connect with them. It might not always seem easy to connect with your few. That's because they're not like you. And that's okay, because they are teenagers, and you are probably not. And they're not like you used to be, because even if you're in your 20s or your 80s, things have changed. So connect with the teenagers in your group, because they'll be more likely to open up in group if they feel more connected to you. Here's a few ways to connect. Number 1, connect before small group. Maybe conversations come really easily to your group, maybe a little too easily, and maybe you look up at the clock and realize you have 10 minutes left to talk about your actual lesson. Or maybe conversation takes a little while to get started, your few need a little more time to warm up before you can jump into a real discussion. Either way, it's a great idea to connect before you get to your small group. It may be a group text, meeting them at the door, sitting with them during teaching, or maybe just walking with them to small group. Making some small connections early can make a big impact on your conversations later. Number 2, connect with new students. At some point, you'll probably get someone new to your group. That might make you a little nervous. How will your group respond? But if you're a little nervous, think about how they must be feeling. It's so important to make a new student feel welcome, safe, celebrated, and liked. So remember their name, learn about them, and try to find some common ground with them. Finally, it's time to, number 3, connect during small group. So when small group begins, take a few moments to connect with the ones you weren't able to connect with before group. You might want to jump right into your small group conversation, and I get it, you've got a lot to talk about. But when you take time to connect, you're laying a foundation that the rest of your conversation will be built on. If you want your small group conversations to matter more, help them connect with each other. Yes, your few need you, but they also need each other. So it's part of your job to connect them with each other, and here's a few ways to do that. Number 1, connect them with an icebreaker. Ask a silly question, a question about their week, or a question that will help you get to know them. When you ask an icebreaker question, there's a good chance your few will talk about themselves, learn something new about each other, and laugh. And that last one is really important, because if they don't laugh together, they probably won't feel comfortable enough to talk about their questions, their doubts, their life experiences, so connect them with an icebreaker. Number 2, connect them through their interests. Each of your students are very different, but it's your job as their small group leader to help them discover what they have in common. Think through their interests and try to help them connect to each other. And if all else fails, try watching a cat video. Those really seem to bring people together. Number 3, connect them with someone new. It's not always easy for teenagers to connect with someone new. Maybe try splitting your group into pairs for their icebreaker questions, and then new pairs, and then new pairs. Remember, if you want your conversations to matter more, you might want to try connecting before the conversation begins. Connect with them and help them connect with each other. Because before a teenager can connect with God, they may need to connect with someone who's connected with God.